Hey guys, so I am just about to open up a, um, a section on your Moodle called the Bonus Disease poster. And once that becomes available to you, then you guys are going to be able to watch this video and hopefully have an opportunity to earn some bonus points. And so I just kind of want to go over what the expectation is. So you should be able to see this right here once it's made available. And just a couple of important things like we always have on every little Moodle section. You have a due date, so you can see that this bonus is going to be due on Thursday, May 8th. And it says by 6 p.m., but really it's pretty much whenever the building is open, okay? And so it's actually going to be due on Thursday. Whenever you can come by, I'm actually going to take this out. Honestly, I don't really know the hours of the building. As far as I know, this semester we have night classes on Monday and Wednesday going on, and so the building should be open until probably about 7:30. I don't know if there are night classes on Tuesdays or Thursdays. So if that's the case, the doors probably close around 4 or 4:30. So I would encourage you to try to come during the day if at all possible, or if you did need to come at a nighttime, try to come on a Wednesday, okay, because that is the day that we have night classes up here. So the bonus is essentially going to be you creating a poster on a disease. So the poster is going to be worth up to 20 bonus points, assuming you do it correctly. You will get 20 bonus points, and I will try to go through your lecture test grades and put it on your lowest lecture test. And then there's going to be another bonus opportunity the following Monday. Monday and Tuesday in lecture room 36, there's going to be kind of a setup of all of these posters to create what's called a gallery walk. And you can come in on one of those days, same thing, just whenever the building's open. And you guys can come in, you go into the classroom, there's a little piece of paper that you fill out, and you walk around, you look at least 10 posters and write down 10 things that you learned. So let's first off talk about what is the expectation for your poster. And so there's a document here, and it's the same document that I'm pulling up here on my screen. And so once again, you have your due dates. This is when the poster is due, and then these are the gallery walk days. But essentially, you're going to pick a disease, and all of these diseases are going to fall under the systems that we've covered in AMP1. So it could be a disease of the integumentary system, the skeletal system, the muscular system, or the nervous system. And so I have a list that you can choose from. You don't have to physically sign up just because it's going to be hard with you guys being at home and not being here in person. But just pick one of them and you can do a poster on it, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to create a poster. And when I say poster, this could be a 25-cent poster board. This could be a trifold board. I just want you to know that you do not have to go out and spend a lot of money, okay? So I have a lot of different examples, and there's also a PowerPoint with some examples. Some are on trifold, some are on simple poster board. So here's kind of an example that I just have handy. Okay, this is kind of on that foam board. And so you can kind of see that it's just essentially a display of information. If you have access to a printer, you can print and cut and paste on there. If you want to handwrite it, you can do handwritten. Anything is fine. Most of your points for your poster are going to come from the information that you put on it. So let's just kind of quickly go over what this is asking for. So you pick a disease, and the first thing you're going to put is kind of what is it? You know, if someone said, hey, what is osteogenesis imperfecta? Or if someone said, hey, what is muscular dystrophy? Then that's kind of what you would put there, okay? So you just give an overview of what the disease is. You need to address the causes and risk factors, prevention. Now, all of these bullets are going to vary depending on the disease. Some diseases, may be a genetic cause. It could be due to lifestyle choices. It could be just some random something that causes it. Some of these things have risk factors, like certain cancers that certain cancers may have an increased risk based on your genetics, or risk factors could be something like it's more common in females or males. or certain ethnic groups. So risk factors could be, diet and exercise, things like that. So what causes it, and if you can prevent it, what are some of the things that you could do to prevent it? Obviously, you can't prevent genetic mutations necessarily, but there are some things that you could try to do to not get that disease. You need to include signs, symptoms, and complications. So how do you know you have that disease, or what are some of the things that you experience if someone has that disease? And those kind of all are lumped together. Now, epidemiology is statistics. So, how many people are diagnosed with that disease every year? Or that could also include things like ethnic groups, male versus female. A lot of times there's statistics like, it's more common in females, or it's more common in certain age groups. It's more common in certain ethnic groups. This many people are diagnosed. It's common, it's rare. Those are the types of things that you're going to put under epidemiology. How do they diagnose it? Do they do x-rays? Do they do some kind of scan? Is it just like a visual look by a doctor? The treatment, prognosis, and outlook. Now, some of these things are not treatable in terms of curing, but a lot of times there's some treatments for some of the symptoms. Even if there is no cure, there's normally some things they can do to improve life quality or to improve things like pain or mobility. Prognosis and outlook. So if you were to be diagnosed, like, is it something where it's really not going to affect your lifespan, or do you, kind of have a disease where maybe it, shortens life by 20 years, something like that. Now, the other thing I want you to include is just other information. So here are things that you must have, and then I want you just to find something else. It could be some kind of history. It could be if there's multiple types. I've had students where they put personal information, maybe someone in their family had a disease or they had a disease, and so maybe they included some of their own information, but just something other than the required, okay? I do want you to include your sources. This is not like a formal research paper, but I do want you to include the web addresses that you used, and really you should not just use one. Don't limit yourself to one website. So all you have to do there is just cut and paste. You go up to the web address and you just copy and paste the whole web address onto a doc, and then you can glue it onto the back of the poster. And then just a couple other things that are going to earn you points. Obviously, it does need to look nice. It needs to be neat. It needs to be orderly, and it needs to be easy to read. So this is where you could add pictures or color or just some kind of, formatting, colored paper, whatever it is. But just make sure it looks good. Now, especially since I don't know you guys, I definitely need you to put your name on the poster so that I can make sure that you get your credit. And I've included a rubric. Now, you don't have to put this on the poster. I will actually print some and use them to grade. But you can see that everything is worth 2 points. Okay, so if you were to leave off information, then you wouldn't get those points. So in order to get 20 points bonus, you have to pretty much have a poster that has all of these qualities or pieces of information. Now, notice there's also this gallery walk. Okay, so 20 points is for the poster. You can earn 5 points by doing the gallery walk. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set up posters. So that if you turn in a poster, then we will set up the room. It's going to be lecture room 36 in the biology building. And once again, you can come anytime on Monday and Tuesday, the 12th and 13th, anytime the biology building's open. So once again, night classes, I think we just have night classes on Monday, Wednesday. And so if you need to come in the evening, you may want to come on one of those on the Monday. It may, on a Tuesday, it may only be open till like maybe 4 o'clock. So anytime the building's open, you can come. That lecture room will be unlocked. And you go in, there'll be posters throughout the room. On the front station, there will be gallery walk papers. And essentially all you have to do is fill it out. So minimum, you have to look at 10 posters. And so you walk around the room, you look at the posters. Let's say you stop by a poster on bone cancer, and you just write down one thing that you learned by looking at that poster. That's it. So 10 posters, and for each one, write down something that you learned. And then you can leave that gallery walk paper in the room, and I'll pick them up, and if you've completed that, I'm going to give you an extra 5 points. So that way we're getting exposure to all these different diseases It's one of the things that we really don't have time to cover in an 8-week class. So we all know that homeostasis is important, and what happens if we don't maintain homeostasis is disease. And so I think it's an important part of anatomy is to understand some of the things that can go wrong when our systems are not working properly. So below that on this document, here's a disease list. Now, if we met in person, I would have you sign up because we really don't like to have duplicates. But just for the sake of the fact that this is a web class, you notice you have a lot to choose from, okay? You can maybe pick something that's personal to you, but I do want you to pick something off of this list, okay? So we have our systems, the integumentary, skeletal, muscular, and nervous. Sometimes there's an overlap with these two especially, and that a lot of times they are neuromuscular disorders. So sometimes if they're down here, they could also be up here and vice versa. But all you need to do is pick one, and then you do your research, you create your poster, and you just need to have your poster turned in by May 8th. Okay, so that is a Thursday. The reason they need to be turned in by Thursday, May 8th, is because I have to have them in order to set them up for the gallery walk on Monday, the following Monday. And the building is not open on Friday, okay? So it is important that you understand that we will not take late posters, okay? So you must have it turned in by 5/8. If you have a certain time that you can come, you're welcome to email me and we can set up a time for you to turn it in. Or you can come by anytime the biology building is open. And if I'm not in my office, you can just turn it in right outside my office door. You can just leave it in the hallway. If it's thin enough, you can slide it under my door and I will pick up those posters when I'm back in the office. So I just wanted to introduce that to you guys. I would highly encourage you to take advantage of this opportunity. 25 points on a test could potentially raise your overall average a couple of points. And that may not sound like a whole lot. However, if you were sitting at a 68, this bonus could be the difference between passing and failing, okay? So I would encourage you to take advantage of that. And everything you need is going to be on Moodle. The document that I just showed you is going to be right here. Here's some examples of some sample posters that you can look at. And I just want to remind you that you do not have to spend a lot of money, okay? If you want to get just a 25-cent poster board, that is A-okay. If you want to handwrite things, that is A-okay. The main thing is you have the information on the rubric, okay? So you can kind of grade yourself before you turn this poster in, and just, of course, be sure your name is on the poster. And that is going to wrap up the bonus opportunity. Hopefully I'll see you soon as we move forward into the muscular system in our next unit. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, never be afraid to reach out. Come see me or email me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Y'all have a great one.